किसी का हो अमल वैसा ही पाता है वो फल, जैसा किसी का हो अमल वैसा ही पाता है वो फल। दुष्टों को कष्ट मिलता है, शिष्टों का होता दुख हरण। विश्वापति के ध्यान में आप दया स्वरूप है, आप ही का है आसरा, आप ही का है आसरा। आप दया स्वरूप है, आप ही का है आसरा, आप ही का है आसरा। कृपा की दृष्टि कीजिए मुझ पे हो जब समय कठिन। विश्वापति के ध्यान में जिसने लगाई हो लगन, क्यों ना हो उसको शांति, क्यों ना हो उसका मन मगन। विश्वापति के ध्यान में।
सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
Janki ji.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes, Janki ji.
okay.
Yes,
I
Janki
don't
ji
know.
can hear.
Thank you. I don't know what happened. Something went wrong. Is it okay now? Is everything okay? You can
Yes.
see
Yes,
your...
Yes,
Janki
yes.
ji.
Perfect. Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Whoops. Can you still hear?
Yes,
Yes.
Janki ji.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
For a while we miss you. Now it's okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here and
Yes.
see
Yes.
Janki ji.
Heard? I can't see. Okay, so we are doing a perfect thing because we are in the midst of Maya, and you're seeing a different thing. I am seeing a different thing. You're there, right? Okay, because I am not seeing anything.
Janki ji, this is the sar of this chapter.
Yes, I hope that. Okay, so God is helping us understand how different people perceive things very differently.
But no chapter correct.
Yeah.
There's no exam.
Sorry?
I thought there was exam today. No exam
Oh, exam you're supposed to take on your own.
means acha, where
Did
is
you all have you all not received the link for the exam yet?
No, Janki ji.
no, no.
Oh,
Where is the link
When is
supposed
it?
to come?
Nobody knows.
it was to come last Saturday. Oh, is
No.
that so? Where is this whole team? No, everybody has disappeared today.
No, there's a technical problem due to which it can't be done. So
Oh, you didn't say anything, Mahesh.
I did mention it on the group, but okay.
Oh, oh, so can't be done means now what? Okay, we'll discuss this offline. Sorry, everyone. I don't know what happened. I will find out. But the exam is ready, and how to deliver it now seems to be an issue.
The last chapter, Janki ji.
Yes, theory of perception.
Oh, I'm not aware at all about it.
Oh, okay. So the exam is ready. It has been given to our technical teams. There seems to be some issue. I will find out what it is. Now I'm going to log out of this because this is very strange. I'm seeing a black screen. You all are seeing I don't know what. So I'm going to log out and log in again. Okay.
Put the key được. À.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming. Cyber.
How is it now? Can you all see?
Can see and hear also, Janki ji.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And I can also see and I can see, Elsie, and hear you. Good. Okay, so we are good now. Finally, I am so sorry about this. I have no idea what happened. So Mahesh will update us on the exam. Mahesh, please find out how is by what method we can now do it if whatever method we were using isn't working. Now let's get on to the why, when, whence, wherefore of this world. What have we done so far? We have seen the questions that bewilder us. We do not understand where the world came from or why it has come or any. We do not understand where this world has come from. Why has this world come? Why are we here? Where have we come from? When did we come and when were we going to go? All these questions are very disturbing to the human mind, and no matter how much progress we have made, we don't seem to know the answers. Nobody knows where has the world come from, when did the world come, or even why is it here? Why are we here? Now, Ramatirtha gives an astounding answer to this question. What he says is, very interestingly, your question is wrong. You have no right to ask this question. Now, that's a weird thing to tell anybody. You can say, I don't know the answer. How can you tell anyone you can't ask this question? But he gives us a good reason why this question cannot be asked. He says, think about it. What is the world? The world is time, space, and causation. Correct? These three things put together make up the world. Now, when you say, why has this world come? Your question is a question of causation. Why? What is the cause? Now, if you ask, why did the world come? Or what is the cause of the world? You get into this strange conundrum. Causation is the world. When the world is there, causation is there. But how can you say that causation is before the world? How can you say this? How-
No sound, Janki ji.
Screen also locked.
Mahesh, Mahesh.
Yeah, tell me.
So this test will be today. How, Miss, when you will conduct?
No, it won't be, it'll be at your pace. It'll be on the LMS. So you can just log in there and take the test and you'll get a certificate.
Oh, it's like that, huh? Not last time what we had done during the
No, no,
class.
no, not like that. Not like that.
Okay, okay.
Okay, can you see now?
See and hear.
Yes, Janki.
Okay, thank you. I've now logged in from my phone because I don't know what's going on the laptop. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is the problem today. So where did you all hear up to? Did you all hear anything at all? Where up to where did you get the point?
The
We were at
causation.
how is causation before the world.
Okay, fine. So Ramatirtha explains why you cannot ask this question. Why you cannot ask this question is because this question is based in causation. Causation is inherent in the question. You cannot segregate causation from why did the world come? It's the same thing. So when you how can you ask a question about causation predating causation? That's the conundrum. So you can't ask these questions. If you say, when did the world come? It is equivalent to saying, putting time before time came. Time is emerged when the world emerged. So you cannot say this time. It makes no sense. And so too space. Where does the world end? Or where does it begin? Where is inherently space, and space is world. So the moment you say where, world is already there. So you can't ask this question. Now, this takes a little bit of thinking to understand this conundrum. So you
Can you
need to
please go a little slowly, Janki, because there's too many. I'm not able to understand
okay.
this causation coming before, after. Little
Okay.
slow.
All right. So let's see why Ramatirtha says that you can't ask this question. You can't ask this question, not because you can't ask it. Any human being can ask any question. But there is a fundamental fallacy in the question itself. And the fallacy is this, that if you're saying, why did the world come? Then inherent in why is causation. Correct? Why and causation is the same thing. If why and causation are the same thing, then how can you ask why for causation? It's like saying why for why. That makes sense. Is that clear? If once you understood one of them, you can understand all the others. Are
Can
you
you give an
okay?
example, Janki ji? Some example where we can understand
Example.
it better.
I don't know how you can give an example for this. Can anyone think of an example? How can you? I don't think an example is even possible.
Janki ji,
It,
if you
it
could
has,
define
sorry?
the world, if you could define what we mean by the world as time and space, maybe we start from there.
That is the definition. That is the accepted definition. But one second, before we go over there,
Yeah.
the question, the only example I can think of offhand, I mean, not a very good example, but only kind of question you can think of which would be comparable is the child asking the mother, why didn't you invite me for the wedding? You're my mother.
Yes.
You take me everywhere. But the most important thing in your life, which is your wedding, how come I'm not invited? How come I'm not in any of the photographs? That's the only thing I can think of right
Yes.
away.
Good example.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you, Janki.
So you can't put sets of the cause before the effect. I mean, you can't put the effect before the cause. You can't put the cart before the horse. Now, so when you're saying, why did the world come? World is equal to causation. Wherever there is world, there is causation. Wherever there's causation, there is world. World is equal to causation. So how can you say why to the world? Because then you're saying why to why. It's senseless. It's meaningless. It doesn't make any sense. Similarly, you can't ask when to time. Time itself. Because when and time is the same thing. You can't ask where did the world start. Because where is space and world is space. So if you put a place, then the world is already there, no? If you put a time, then the world is already there. You can't put a time before the world. You can't put a where before space. I mean, this they have said so many centuries ago, but today even physics says this. That when we talk about the universe expanding, it's actually space is expanding. You know, when we think of the universe expanding in our minds, we don't understand physics, but in our minds, it's like the galaxies are sort of expanding. We can't comprehend what this means, that space is expanding. It's not that the galaxies are expanding. When the galaxies appear to be going away from us, it's not really that the galaxies are moving. It is that the space, the fabric of space is moving, and therefore it appears as if it is the galaxies are going away from us. This is all very counterintuitive to us. Okay, so philosophy is difficult enough. We won't go to physics. But the thing is, what surprised me when I studied that is these people said the same thing how many centuries ago? Space is expand. Okay, now you can't ask me questions on the chat because I can't see the chat. Oh, let me see. How does one see the chat on this thing? I don't know how to see the chat on this. Too many things I have to learn while
Hari Om,
concentrating
Janki.
on illusions. Say, yeah, Aditi, Hari Om.
Hari Om. So when you say space is expanding into what?
Can't answer. That is a difficulty, no? That's the whole difficulty. The moment you say something, It's already, space is already there because space is first. If you say expanding into X, then the moment you say X, space is already there.
Janki ji,
Hmm.
some cities, no, in some cities, not cities, coastal area, sea is cutting the land. Sea is coming inside. Some cities, villages are submerging in the water. So we can say water is sea water cutting land. So space is expanding with what is it is cutting? What is there to cut?
You can't answer that question. That's the whole point. Because until space is there, what is there? There's nothing there. You can't even say nothing because nothing implies something. So you can't ask that question. That's what Ramatirtha is trying to explain. You can't put where before space. You can't put when before time. You can't put why before causation. You can't do this. I know it is extremely frustrating to hear this. Firstly, it's difficult to wrap your head around it. Once you wrap your head around it, you're even more frustrated with the answer. I understand all of that. We all go through this until it occurs to you that that is really true. It is a lot of mental gymnastics, but then that's what philosophy eventually becomes, right? It's difficult to comprehend, but if you do get it, you begin to see how can it be anything else? It is, how can you say why to why itself? Why does why exist? You can't say that, right? For everything, you can say, why does X exist? Why do I exist? Why does this laptop exist? Why do our internet problems exist? Why are we having problems with Zoom today? Or not Zoom, I don't know what we're having a problem with. Why? Why is my husband fighting with me? Why is my son sweet to me? So I can ask why to everything. But how can you ask why to why itself? Why does why exist? Can you ask that question? For everything, there is a cause. But why is there a cause? Can you ask that question? Can you ask the question, what is the first cause? Because if you immediately, when you go to first cause, you've gone to a cause without a cause. Is that possible? Not possible.
Yeah, Janki ji.
Hmm.
So the definition of the world is time, space, and causation.
Yes, that's a standard definition. Yeah. I mean, there's so many definitions, but this is one standard one. What is the world made of? Time, space, and causation. Anything in the world you can think of will fall into one of these three. Now, is that at least sort of clear? You will have to put in some effort to understand it even further.
Janki, one more thing.
Hmm.
Just now you gave example now. This child is asking why I was not there in your wedding. But in Western country it is possible.
Okay. This example is only from India. Okay, nowhere else. And as it is a difficult finding an example. I find one, and then if you do anything to it, then not allowed. Okay, so I hope somewhat clear. Now, who will read the next part? Somewhat clear. Anybody has? I mean, you will have a difficulty in this. It's not an easy concept to get. Why you cannot place time, space, and causation before time, space, and causation? Basically, that's what you're asking. Can
Here,
time, space, and causation exist before time, space, and causation? That makes no sense.
I think instead of starting with that why thing, space is better, no? Is easier to understand because
Yeah.
space we know. I mean, you can't say there is no space anywhere. So space is expanding to space, or was there space before space? Seems easier to understand that yes, that cannot be. But then time is more
Yeah, I mean,
difficult.
if that works for you, yeah, I mean, each one will find one of them easy. When I first heard it, I used causation.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jankiji, time was easier for me to comprehend.
yeah,
Time.
Time.
what time did time start? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very, it's not a question. What time did time start?
Yeah.
That's another easier statement.
Yeah. So you see, Kalyan, everybody will have their own perspective on what. You know that the causation is the most common one because everybody understands that first cause is a contradiction in terms. What's a first cause? How can that even be? And therefore, we call that first cause God. God basically, when you say answer a question by saying God, all you're really saying is, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Leave it like we say, people take such little interest in our work, and nobody is like completely committed to the university coming up, and yet somehow it's moving forward. How is this happening? God is doing this, Baba, because I don't know how it is happening otherwise. So, we don't know how do these things happen. So whenever we don't understand why something is happening, we say God is doing it. Now, God is doing it means I don't know what happened. Now, when you try and fix this first cause, and you realize that you cannot fix the first cause, then if the first cause is not fixed, then how? If I don't know that there is a first cause, if there isn't a first cause, then how did that effect come? And if the effect of that first cause didn't come, then how did it become a cause for another? So the first cause didn't come, its effect didn't come, and slowly, if you work it down, that means I didn't come, isn't it? First cause is not possible. That means effect of the first cause is not possible. Therefore, for future causes and effects are not possible. Therefore, I don't exist.
This question
It's
cannot be
okay.
answered.
Huh?
This question cannot be answered. First cause
No,
and all
I
this
mean,
thing is a theory.
yeah, it is theory. That is what we are grappling with. Then if you can't establish first cause, that means you're not here. And yet you think you're here. Very confusing.
Is like first father. When did first father
Yeah.
come? There is no answer.
Yes. No first father. So he didn't have a son. So he didn't have a son. So he didn't have a son. So my father didn't exist. And therefore I didn't exist.
But you are
And
there.
yet I seem to be there. I can actually prove I don't exist. If I cannot prove first cause, I cannot prove I exist. So you see how many problems there are once you start thinking about it. It is easier to always say, "Arey, kya farak padta hai?" and then go your merry way. But if you start thinking about it, like this total thing is incomprehensible.
Sankiji, Sanjay had a clarification.
Please go ahead.
If the first cause we don't know, but that doesn't mean that that cause can't have an effect.
No, but we cannot establish there's a first cause. If you cannot establish that, how can you establish that the effect took place?
Okay.
And if you can't establish that the first cause existed and therefore its effect existed, how do you establish that you exist? So Rene Descartes took the easy way out. He said, I think, therefore I am. He said, I am establishing I exist because I think. Vedanta stance is just the opposite. It says, since you think, you're not. That is why the last chapter of How Do You Know What You Know is, I think, therefore I am not. Because by definition, every thought has to be the finite. You cannot have an infinite thought. And yet you know that this is all infinite. So how does this work? The whole thing is incomprehensible, if you ask me.
Okay.
It's very sad, but that's how it is. Oh, Taran, have you raised your hand? I'm sorry, I am doing this on the phone, so I'm a little confused about things now.
Yeah, Janki. I was
Ah,
having some thought, so wanted to share it. Like when we are saying or looking for first cause or something, I think there the assumption is the creation has happened, right? Creation
no,
has
no.
started. Means it started.
That's the problem.
It is
You
the
cannot assume.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
That looking for a first cause means that it is assumed that creation started, right? And started at some time. But I think creation is happening at every moment. It is not, it never stops, it never starts. It is just happening. Creation has
Yeah,
it has
that is one way of escaping the question. You have not been able to establish that it is happening all the time is easy enough to understand. That's not a problem. Every moment children are being born, that creation is happening all the time is an easy concept. The question is that is very well accepted and nobody has a debate on that. The problem is at the first cause level.
why first cause it is a cycle, right? You can start at a moment. It's up to you.
No. These are all conclusions. You can answer questions by saying that. But what Ramatirtha is saying is your question itself is wrong. This is what we're trying to understand. We can answer it. So many things people have said. People say there was Adam, there is Eve, and then they got together, and then they have children. Or then we have the, what is it, Manu Matsya Katha in the Vedas. As Manu was there, and then a fish, I don't know, you're familiar, right? He caught a fish in his hand. And then the fish told him, don't kill me, keep me in your kamandalu. And when the world comes to an end, we'll save him. And this fish kept growing. And, you know the story, right? Everybody is familiar with the story. So each culture has given some story. But the Nasadiya Sukta of the Vedas, it also gives a story. What are the words it uses? Some words it uses. There was something, and that thing broke into two. And when broke into two, then it formed the male and the female, and then these two got together, and then whatever. And it ends, the sukta ends by saying, but how did this world come about? Only who made it knows, and maybe he doesn't know either. It ends with that. It's a very, very famous. Have y'all are familiar? Heard of the Nasadiya Sukta? It's a very famous sukta from the Vedas. From
1 to 9.
Sorry?
Rigveda 10, 129 9. Rigveda 10.1 to 5. 1 to 9, sorry.
Okay.
I have read.
It's very famous. Most people, many people have read it. And that's where it ends. How did this come? So now you say creation is going on all the time. Okay, that's easy. But that's a way of escaping the question.
Janki, we can also say, how did Adam and Eve come? in the first place? Can't we?
Yeah, so so they say God created. Then some people say, no, God didn't create. God created Lilith. And Lilith broke up into two and made Adam and Eve. Everybody has their own theory on this whole thing. What Ram Tirtha says is, whatever your answer is, it is fundamentally wrong because the question itself is wrong. The question cannot exist. So the question or the answer cannot exist. So giving an answer is easy. Everybody has given some answer because people don't understand that the question cannot be asked. So after some time, when people ask too much, how this, how that, then I suppose every sage went and said, "Acha Baba, now kuch tha wo do ho gaye." There was a one, it became two somehow. And then people say, yeah, very good, very good. Talia, Talia.
I think
And everybody is in love with whatever their guru told them as the answer.
yeah,
Or their religion told them.
Actually, I think, sorry, here, aeroplane is coming, just give a second. So,
Tarak, your connection is not correct, not proper. We cannot hear you. It's breaking.
yeah, there was a plane going on. Sorry, is it my voice audible now?
Yeah.
When we asked the question, what was the first cause? Actually, we are trying to pinpoint a certain criteria for the start. We are actually trying to put a starting point to the circle. I can put the starting point anywhere.
Yeah, you said that before. But that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever answer you give becomes irrelevant when you understand the question itself cannot be asked.
Question can be asked, it depends upon where you put the starting point.
No. That's your answer. Ramatirtha says you cannot ask the question. That is what he says. Now you can keep your answer or you can consider what he is saying and answer this. You can't ask the question, which sounds like a rude thing to say to us. Like, why can't I ask? I'll ask whatever question I want. I mean, correct, you can ask whatever question you want, but he's explaining why. Just paid some attention. He's not some random person saying something. So paid some attention. You can still reject his theory if you want and see if you find a better one. Everybody will do that. You say, no, this is no good an answer. I like that answer. Okay, keep that answer until you find out why that answer doesn't work. Yes, Mamita? I think you're raising your hand. Are you?
Yes, Janki. So, but we can definitely assert that I experience that I am. That is something I can assert, right?
You can assert it means that is your experience. That nobody can deny that you are experiencing that. Logic tells you that that is not possible.
What is not possible?
What they say is you cannot establish first cause took place because that's an impossible concept. So you cannot say first cause took place. That means the effect cannot have happened. If the effect cannot happen, then future causes and effects cannot happen. Therefore, you are not there. But
Yes.
that is shocking.
But
What do
then
you
who is
mean? I am
arguing?
there.
Yeah, but then who is arguing about my absence?
So who says that there's an argument on?
No, I mean this is just semantics, words, but I know that I exist. So at least to myself, it is, even if I'm not getting into the first cause and everything, what I know for sure is that I do exist.
That is what they're questioning. No, you're now in a philosophy classroom. It's not enough to say I see it so. I think I exist, so therefore I exist. Yeah, I mean that's how any human being will say it. I see that the sun rises, therefore the sun rises. That's the most normal thing to say. Education is to realize that what I'm seeing or perceiving is not always true. This is
Yes,
the problem.
that is the details, but that I am, that I am is surely foundational to everything.
That is what everybody will say. But
Hello, madam.
Is it true?
But Janki ji, isn't it the same thing where a dreamer is arguing that no, this is real. This is not a dream. This is who I am when I'm dreaming in that particular way, right?
You can say
Will
that.
it
Yeah,
say
everybody has their perception and they believe their perception to be true. Correct. Yours a good
No,
example
I'm
also.
not saying that I am so and so, but the fact that I am, that it is.
Yeah, that is your most fundamental thing. You can't say I am so and so until I say I am. So now when you say I am, you think Momita is. But is it true that Momita is? Is a philosophical query. I mean, philosophical query is everything. Is it true that the class is on now? Of course it is true. I'm in the class. But does that prove that the class is on? If I was dreaming that a class is on, I'm experiencing the class. But is the class on? So that's the philosophical query, and you're right in your absolute sort of rejection of the concept. That's the most natural thing to do. Like, what nonsense that I am. Hello, I'm not as good as I think I am. I'm not as intelligent as I think I am. I'm not as bad as I think I am. You can make all these statements. But how can you doubt that I am? That's correct. I mean, anyone will say that. But as a philosophy student, doubt is your primary weapon. Is it so?
Okay.
Janki ji, just a thought here. So, if we start with I exist, right, and then Vedanta says, query I am, then I do a deep query, and they answer, Vedanta answers that I am Brahman, right? And now we are saying I don't exist. So means Brahman don't exist. Nothing exists. Are we saying that?
No. They're saying Taran doesn't exist. Because you don't know whether you're Brahman or not. When you say I exist, you are saying Taran exists.
I'm saying Vedanta says I am Brahman.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
Different story.
No, but Vedanta says you are Brahman, then no debate. But you are saying you're Taran. And Vedanta is also saying you're not Taran. So what's the difficulty?
Momenta or Dev Janki ji, nothing. I'm just saying Vedanta says search who I am, right? Starting question.
Okay.
And you will figure out that you are the Brahman.
Okay.
And now we are saying I don't exist. So Brahman, how can Brahman exist?
Now we are saying Taran doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's in.
I don't know where is all this
Someone's
background sound
phone is not muted. Too much noise.
Okay, now you all do your own reflection and let us continue with the text. You think about it. It is natural that you will disagree. If you don't disagree, that means you're not learning anything new. So if you disagree, very good. Please think about it and think about it. You can reject it. Nobody's saying you have to accept what you're learning. And you come up with a better theory. And if you do, let us know if you have any better theory. Every philosophy student will say, no, this is not correct. I will tell you what is correct. And then eventually you find out what is wrong with what you're saying.
No,
Eventually it occurs to you.
the only thing that I believe is that I do not exist as a separate I. I exist, but it is a collective Brahman I. That's it. The resistance of a
Wait. Taran, we are not discussing what you believe and don't believe. What we are discussing here is why is the question irrelevant? Let's focus our attention on that. Why is the question irrelevant about why, when, where? This is what we are focusing on. Now, each person in this class will have some belief or the other. Now, each person's belief, if we start taking up and discussing, as it is, poor Kalyan is rubbing his head in absolute distress. I don't know what will happen if we take each person's thing and start discussing. We are only discussing one point. Why can you not ask this question? Ramatirtha has explained. That's all we are discussing. Now, let us see further. What has he got to say? Who will read the next paragraph?
Janki ji, I use this.
Hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just use it for this philosophy for solving the problem, personal problem. If a third person is a problem to me, I say, I don't know you. And if because of me, there is a problem, I say, okay, too much stress, I don't exist.
This is a very easy way, but sorry, it's not an acceptable way. And why it's not an acceptable way, we will come to. You can very easily say that I don't exist and you don't exist, and so my problem doesn't exist. But you can't really do that. And
सैलरी
we will
देने की
soon
जरूरत नहीं,
find out why.
जनके जी, सैलरी देने की जरूरत नहीं, यू डोंट एग्जिस्ट, ऐसे ही काम करो।
वो काम को जा ही नहीं, क्योंकि I don't exist, तो कौन जा रहा है? Who's going to work? Like this you can't do. And I think in this chapter itself, we will be discussing, is it in this chapter or the next, why you cannot have that stance. Because finally everybody comes to that, अच्छा छोड़ो यार, कुछ नहीं है तो मैं क्यों मेरा, if I don't exist, then why am I debating this in the first place? So we come to the conclusion that कोई बात नहीं, रहने दो. But the fact remains that you can't do that either. Suppose you take the stance that I don't exist, then you will create confusion and mess in your life. If you take the stance that I exist, then you have no philosophical basis for it. So you are poised in a place कि ना तो मैं हूं ना तो मैं नहीं हूं. And standing at that point is very difficult. Nobody can stand. Am I there or not there? I don't know. Now I have to function in the world as if I'm there. But I have to believe that I don't know whether I'm there or not. Very confusing. So what is a simple solution? Close the book and get on with your life. Solution. But that Kida has already got into us, unfortunately. For the rest of the world, they'll be able to close the book and say, अच्छा छोड़ो, मेरा क्या जाता है, किसी को कुछ पता ही नहीं है. But that Kida has got it to us. As a Vedanta student, that Kida has got it. I want to know the truth. Now, how will you go backwards from here? Since you can't go backwards from here, you will have to go forwards and find out what it is eventually. Because you have the question. For those who don't have the question, they are sort of okay with life. Okay, shall we do one paragraph? Just so that we can sort of end this, not this chapter, but this aspect of the basis. It just started the introduction to this chapter, please. Life is only going to get more complicated. Okay, who will read the next paragraph?
I'll read.
Please.
Time, space, and causation do not have a beginning or an end. Time stretches limitlessly, both backward and forward. It can go back endlessly, project forward endlessly. So does space extend on all sides without boundaries. So does space extend on all sides without boundaries. It is all pervading. Also, causation seems to have come from eternity and going into eternity. And time, space, and causation constitute the world. Hence, there is no beginning or end to the world. The question of when, whence, wherefore this world does not arise. This question has no answer. It is beyond the scope of the intellect, beyond human comprehension. Those who try to answer this question empirically are confused, confounded. They go round in circles, get nowhere. So we're saying that time, space, and causation go on for eternity, backwards and forwards. So it is impossible for the intellect to comprehend this this kind of reality. is because if we try to do so empirically, which is as if from an observational point of view, then that is not possible. So we'll go around in circles and get nowhere.
Very good. The question cannot be solved empirically. Science is trying. So many years it's trying. Oh, it will continue trying. Thousands of years ago, they said, you will not find an answer. Take it or leave it. मैं क्या बोलूं? All right, so I guess we'll just stop here for today. Or no, we don't have time for one more paragraph. Do we have time for one more paragraph? No, we'll have to conclude it next time because this paragraph is even more difficult. So I hope the point is clear. What is our point? Why does the world exist? Is asking a question, why does causation exist? That means you're placing causation before causation. If you say, when does time exist? Then you're asking, when does when come about? Senseless question. Similarly, space. Where does space begin? Where does space end? If you put any point, okay, it begins here, it ends here. That means space is there, right? So how can you ask that question? So please understand this fundamental thing. Question. Happen.
Janki ji, we can see you.
We can still hear you,
Yeah,
Janki.
okay. All right. So you cannot ask this question about why, when, where. This must be clear. There's some unanswered question. Can somebody please tell me what the unanswered question is?
Not questions, these are just some statements. I mean, you had answered some of them.
Okay, fine. All right, so then that's it for today. Do we have any announcements? Yes, you know, tomorrow evening there's a talk for a US audience on stress. So if you all would like to come, please join us. Then what else? Yes, on 23rd January is Basant Panchami, which is Saraswati's day. And for our university, we have chosen Saraswati as our Ishta Devata. So we should do something on that day and start our processes. I'm letting you all know so that you can keep the day free and do something. We'll all go to the plot and we will do stuff. See what has happened. The cabins will be ready. I don't know. I mean, lots of it will be ready. Whether we'll be finished or not, I can't tell. But in the next 10 days, I think all the cabins will be up. Once they are up, what is left is painting, furniture, curtains, bed sheets, towels, napkins, that kind of stuff. But so I don't know how much we'll have been done by 23rd, but let's on 23rd go to the site, all of us who have contributed so much to it. Thank you to Narendra Singh Negi, who has contributed almost half a cabin. Came from suddenly manna from high heavens came just when we were struggling and saying, how are we going to pay the next bill? Very fortunately, something came into the bank account and we were all rejoicing. I'm telling you, I don't know how suddenly the bills and the payments somehow are matching, because at the moment we have ordered more things than we can pay for. So somehow it's matching. So thank you very much, Narendra Singh Negi, for rescuing us at the last minute like that. And so on 23rd January, please keep yourself free. I know I normally tell you what's happening on Sundays, but this is only a heads up for January 23rd, Basant Panchami, so that we can all meet on the plot. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Hariom, Janki ji.
Thank you, Hariom.
Thank you.
Hariom, Janki ji. Thank you.
Hariom.
Hariom.